A couple of years ago, I decided to take a solo camping trip deep into the woods. I had done a few smaller hikes in the past, and the idea of being alone in nature for a few days sounded peaceful, just me, the trees, and the sound of the wind. I figured I could clear my head and take a break from everything. I chose a remote campsite far from any roads, something off the beaten path. The area had a reputation for being quiet and untouched by most hikers, which is exactly what I wanted. I packed all the essentials, a tent, sleeping bag, some food, and a portable charger for my phone, though I figured there wouldn't be much of a signal anyway. The first day was uneventful. I set up camp, made a fire, cooked some food, and enjoyed the solitude. As the sun dipped behind the trees, the forest seemed to come alive with the usual nighttime sounds, crickets, rustling leaves, distant owl calls. I settled into my tent and read for a while, then drifted off to sleep. But in the middle of the night, I woke up. At first, I thought it was just a bad dream or the cold air causing me to stir. But then I heard it, a soft tapping sound, like a rock gently hitting wood, coming from outside the tent. I thought maybe it was an animal, a raccoon or something, and I tried to ignore it. But the tapping didn't stop. In fact, it grew louder, closer, and more deliberate. Almost like it was counting. I tried to calm myself down, telling myself it was nothing, just the forest playing tricks on me. But then I heard something else, muffled voices. Quiet, unintelligible murmurs. But they were definitely human. My heart started to race. Who else could be out there this far into the woods at this hour? I decided to peek out of the tent. I slowly unzipped the flap, hoping to catch a glimpse of whatever it was. The moment I looked outside, I froze. There, standing in the dim moonlight, was a man. He was just standing there, not moving, staring directly at me. He was dressed in a tattered jacket and ragged jeans, his face hidden in shadow, but I could see his eyes, wide open, unnaturally so, like they had been stretched too far. I don't know how long I stared at him before he slowly began to walk away, disappearing into the darkness of the trees. I stayed frozen for what felt like an eternity, my breath caught in my throat. What the hell was that? I quickly zipped the tent shut and lay there, wide awake, waiting for whatever would happen next. The voices kept mumbling, but they seemed farther away now. It wasn't until the next morning that I realized something was horribly wrong. There were marks all around my tent, scratches, long gouges in the dirt. Like something with claws had been circling me while I slept. But the worst part? The marks were in a perfect circle around my tent. As if whoever, or whatever, had been watching me was carefully making sure I couldn't escape. I didn't stay for another night. I packed up my stuff in a panic, barely remembering to extinguish my campfire, and hiked back to the trailhead as quickly as I could. I don't even remember half the trip back, my mind racing with thoughts of that man, those eyes. When I finally made it back to my car, I checked my phone. No signal. But then I noticed something strange. There was a missed call from an unknown number. It was from the night I had been in the tent. I didn't think much of it at first. But then, just as I was about to drive away, my phone buzzed again. Another missed call. This time, a voicemail had been left. I hesitated, but then pressed play. I'll never forget the sound of the voice on the other end. It was barely a whisper, but clear enough to send chills down my spine. I see you. I don't know how. But I'm sure it was the same voice I had heard the night before in the woods, murmuring softly, just out of reach. I don't know if it was a person or something else entirely. But I'm never going camping alone again. And if you decide to go into those woods, just remember, they're always watching.